So elected representatives, colleagues from Fáilte Ireland, media, tourism providers, business people of Bundoran and Ballyshannon, family, sponsors from AIB, ladies and gentlemen, you're all very welcome to the Rogie Suite here of Bundoran Community Centre as we launch the brand new Discover Bundoran brochure and calendar of events for 2019. Just quickly, some apologies of people who couldn't make it tonight: Breed and Tommy McGuire, Claire Harkin of Fáilte Ireland, Martina Bromley of Fáilte Ireland, Margaret Story of the Creevy Experience, Kieran McClune of Fáilte Ireland, Councillor Tom Conahan, Joy Harron, Donegal Tourism, Gary Martin, Donegal County Council, Marie McGovern, Bus Éireann, and Bernard and Laura McGowan. So we have a few speakers for you to listen to tonight. We will not keep you very long, I promise. First of all, I would like to welcome, with the skin of his teeth, Discover Bundoran Chairman John O'Connell.
Thank you very much, Shane, and I'd like to welcome all of you this evening and thank you for coming out to join us for the launch of the 2019 brochure. I was preoccupied with the House of Commons and Brexit for the last hour. There was a lady wheeled in a wheelchair who had delayed her caesarean section in order to come and vote. So there's certainly a lot of serious things happening over there, which ultimately will have a big effect on ourselves. We've spoken about this at launches like this over the last number of years. Who knows what will happen? We've faced adversity like this before, and hopefully we'll come out the right side of it some way or another. Earlier today, we spent a good number of hours working on a new vision for tourism in Bundoran. We had some very interesting speakers. The architect from Mayo County Council based in Westport, Simon Wall. We had from Donegal County Council's Conservation Society, looking at business shop fronts and so on, Colette Beattie. And from the Sligo bid company, Gail McGibbon. And they really enthused everyone that was there. We had a great turnout, not just local business and tourism people, but also a lot of the officials from the County Council, a lot of the councillors. I'd like to thank Niamh for coming back again this evening for more. Obviously, you were particularly interested and enthused by what you heard. But certainly, I think that we made a very good start in, trying to take the first steps in creating a new vision for Bundoran in terms of its built infrastructure, in terms of new projects, in terms of improving the environment. And I'm very optimistic that we'll move it forward and have something very positive to build on, not just in the short term, but I really think the work that we've been doing today is something that will be a legacy for future generations. As far as the brochure is concerned, many of you might think, well, you put out a lot of the same stuff again, and it's, some of the things change and you have a few new additions and so on. But I think particularly this year, there was never as much debate over things like, particularly the cover photograph had about 175 different last-minute changes on it. And I'd like to compliment Shane in particular for the work that he's done with the brochure. He's really put a lot of effort into it this year. Not that he hasn't in others, but so I'll give you a round of applause, Shane. But it's all about tweaking and responding to customer and visitor comments and feedback, to see that it's as user-friendly as possible. It's very easy to put a brochure on the shelf, but people need to take it and use it and make sure that it's as accessible and easy to put into use as possible. And we've changed the map as well, updated that, as well as welcoming some of the new initiatives that I was very pleased to see this year in Bundoran, the new businesses that have opened in the last 12 months since we were here. So they're now on board and enthusiastic members of Discover Bundoran. At this point, I'd also like to thank Mark Crawford and AIB for their ongoing sponsorship of the brochure, and also to Bus Éireann. And we've been working with Bus Éireann as well to try and put information into their bus shelters for people that are travelling by public transport. As soon as they arrive in Bundoran, the first thing they see is a big poster of the ferry bridges and invitation for them to come and see it. Other than that, I think that Shane has a lovely video to show you this evening of some of the highlights. certainly from a media perspective, of the exposure that we've got over the year. I'd like to thank Barney McLaughlin and the ongoing support from Donegal County Council Tourism Unit, both financially and in terms of their structures and frameworks and the opportunities to go on joint marketing and advertising promotions. So other than that, Shane, thank you very much for coming again. Hopefully you will join with us on many occasions over the year to build on the Discover Bundoran brand and the initiatives that will take place. And I'll hand you back to our tourism officer now. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. Over the next little while, we'll fill you in on the exciting lineup of events that we've got planned for this year. But first, just some highlights of 2018. It was the year that the Ferry Bridges made it into Ireland's top 10 hidden gems with the Irish Independent. It was the year our varying weather made it to coverage on BBC with the foam in January and the hot weather in July. It was also the year that our local Cian Logue, who works in the tourist office with us, made a double spread in Carve magazine. It was the year that RTE and Med Éireann's Joanna Donnelly declared her love online for Bundoran by tweeting from the Ferry Bridges, from Mulletmore, from the Glenelg Horseshoe, and then just by telling people to come to Bundoran, which was just fantastic, so thank you for that. It was the year that we launched the weekly video, which continues to air every Friday at 11 o'clock. We've done it from the office, of course, from Belfast, from London, Amsterdam, from Top of the Big Wheel. And most of them generally went to plan, except for that one time.
And we're there on the bridge, and you can get a printed copy of that in Bundoran. Hello. Thanks.
Yeah. If looks could kill him. So, thanks, John. Naturally, that clip got more views than the actual video itself. The Bundoran Weekly podcast made its debut as well in July. It appears every Friday morning. We've talked to Charlie McGadigan, to Phil Coulter, and lots of other Bundoran-related people, and that continues on every Friday as well. It was the year that Nationwide, following their visit in 2016 for our commemoration, or in 2017 for our commemorations, our railway commemorations, they aired that piece. It was the year that we finally saw what the new interior of Sean O'Brien's old house at the East End looked like. And who could forget it being the year that Daniel and Magella found out in the Great Northern just exactly how much over budget their new house was going to be.
We got 3 tenders back. So they're ranging from 340,000 to 395,000. The build rates that I have got back from the main contractors are, they're good value. The original design changed, and the tender package that went out was not the original design that was on the cost plan. So there was changes made. Dalian wanted an ensuite upstairs, to keep an ensuite upstairs. Therefore, there was walls to be knocked down, which were structural.
For Daniel, it was like somebody popped a balloon and the energy was just, the life was sucked out of him.
This is quite a normal process, and we hammer away and we chip away and we go back to contractors.
You would need to some chisel and hammer to get this back to looking like something that I like.
Saddened by the demise of this beautiful craft, it is with great enthusiasm that I have come to Bundoran in County Donegal to meet architect Declan McCabe, another champion of these near-extinct cottages.
All of these buildings tell a story. They're part of our culture, part of our history. It's very easy just to let them go, and let them disintegrate.
Declan's creative approach has been to open the door to modernity and an abundance of light while still conserving the character and integrity of the original building.
We've created a glass link so that when you move from the old building, you can get a glimpse of the old cottage.
It's actually really noticeable from the staircase when you're coming down, and it's really powerful. The fact that the thatch doesn't touch anything.
We went all the way to Donegal, up to the Donegal Democrat, and there's a story about 2 sisters. Nan passed away last August, 12 months. They have a fantastic pub in Bundoran, and I suppose, one sister was left, and it was too hard for her. On her own.
And the pub was going for years and years, was it?
The pub was going for 118 years, and it was like Brennan's pub, and There was no Wi-Fi. Dahi, you be barred, and so would I. No singing.
No singing at all.
No singing, no Wi-Fi, no television, thank God.
Isn't it great though, Billy?
It was great.
To go into a pub like that for a pint.
And they ran no swearing, which I think is beautiful as well.
Yeah.
And they were respectable, decent people, and I suppose, you know, when one went, it wasn't the same for the two.
60 years on, at exactly 2:30, the time the last train left Bundoran, the community stepped back in time to remember the end of an era.
From 2 o'clock on Monday afternoon, people began to gather at Bundoran station until to departure time between 300 and 400 were present, including many from Ballyshannon, Enniskillen and intermediate stations. Up to 100 travelled on the train, and most of those were making a sentimental last journey.
Now a plaque marks the spot the train left from, unveiled by Dimpan Connolly, whose father was the train driver.
There's gonna be...
So keen to have much Shaw in it, as gallant Shaw, Bundoran Surf Company, Tangrini Scotch and I can't find much Shaw to this bar. Bami Traila Surfel, Ner Vimi, Harpa, Shimblin Jagdish, agus in Shin, Turation Clash, Hosmig Surfel in a rear, Ner Vimi, Bajor Fies the Heen, August Bami Parch as Cursa Surfella, can be in a Midger Surfella, August in Shin, just for me, Glack my post. Rian Sari and Sean Bundoran, August Kugbin Trish to me fast and Shaw. So.
As the judges arrive to cast their eye over her home, Ramona has chosen the Marie Keating Foundation as her charity.
This is just a magnificent home. The sheer scale of it, it's like a period house, but you have these brilliant views.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fine home, and the proximity to the beach is amazing, isn't it?
It'll be interesting to see how the house takes advantage of that, because it's amazing.
Very good.
So, plenty of TV coverage for Bundoran over the last 12 months. Our videos online had collective views of over 104,000 across our suite of social media channels. Our website, discoverbundoran.com, had a massive 74,500 visitors and 156,500 page views. To see now how our plans will fit in with the overall county plan, I'd like to welcome Barney McLaughlin from Donegal Tourism.
Thanks very much, Shane, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just taking on from that last point that Shane made there, it's very interesting following every week when he sends me through the hits on the website. I've noted, you know, the number of repeats and return visitors, but I also keep looking at where he has peaks, and some weeks he has some serious peaks in website hits. And I keep going back and I said, why was there a peak? What was the reason for that peak? And some of the biggest peaks was actually the Brennan's, that the number of hits to the website was the Brennan stories. And I mean, serious hits to the website in Bundoran was the Brennan story. You know, so it's little stories like that really hits home and hits to right across the globe where you get interest. That hits. A lot of people want to know about stuff like that in Bundoran. So you have, it's social history, it's history of Bundoran, it's what impacts on people, and it's what people want to know about what's happening in Bundoran. But it's just interesting where people start to look at what's happening across the board in Bundoran. But that's interesting. Some of the other things that Shane has touched on, and I do compliment him on the brochure. It's a very comprehensive brochure, and it's very interesting. The ferry bridges, that's going to fit in well with what we've done. We did a bit of work on the county last year. We engaged some new video to be done in the county with John and Ciara of the Holiday Show fame. They did some video around the county. So they've come back with some finished work. They did some on Facebook. They've also did another 2 pieces they've given us. And I think you'll be very happy with what's in it, because there's a lovely piece on the ferry bridges, which we're going to be using this year as part of our promotional work for the county. It covers other parts of the county, but it does a lovely piece on Bundoran, both for the ferry bridges and also for equestrian. So we're going to be using that as part of our promo work in the early part of this year, and we'll be using that possibly in some of the TV advertising that we're going to be doing. and also on the new website that we're doing with Go Visit Donegal. John O'Connell mentioned earlier about how we work in collaboration. We work not just in what we do in ourselves, but we work in close cooperation with Tourism Ireland and Fáilte Ireland, and it's about promoting the Wild Atlantic Way, how Donegal fits into that, and how we work collaboratively with all the other agents and action and trade in the county. What we're doing on that is we're looking at Brexit. Brexit does have an impact, everybody be a fool to say it doesn't. Like, the Northern Ireland business is down, the UK business is down. But there are other markets that are starting to make inroads. The European markets are making inroads. The US market is up. Now, the US market is up. The numbers are up. We're not saying that's the panacea or it will be the cure-all, but it is starting to make an inroad. We can grow that market, and we can grow it substantially if we keep doing some more work on it. We can also start to grow the European markets more. There's new routes coming in into Knock Airport. There's a major opportunity for Bundoran here, and we hope to work on that. There will be an opportunity to go out with Ryanair and market into Europe on them flight routes. There will be an opportunity to present at what Bundoran can offer at this side for Germans coming in through them routes, and then you can put packages together and try and take the advantage of that. So that's one opportunity. There are also opportunities then, as I said, when we work together in collaborative actions. We'll be doing the shows starting this week, or next week, sorry, we're in Boot Dusseldorf for the maritime shows. We're also next week, we're in Celtic Connections in Glasgow, and then the Holiday World shows. And that's the kick-off of the shows for this year. We'll be doing approximately 12 different shows this calendar year of collaborative actions. And there's the opportunity, Shane will be participating in a good number of them. We also be working with Tourism Ireland a number abroad, and we'll also be back in the States again this year. So there are actions that we'll be working in partnership on, and opportunities for this town to be packaged as part of them bundles. Going forward, and again next year, we see that the emerging markets in China as one of the ones that we're looking to tap into, and we're looking to do that. We've already started. I wouldn't even say putting our toe in the water there, but we've started to do some light marketing into where the Chinese are already visiting in the Titanic Quarter and in Edinburgh, and we're putting the Donegal brand in there, but we're looking to see if we can get further into the Chinese market to put the Donegal flag up, and that's where we see the opportunity to get in early into that marketplace and to see if we can start to capture a percentage of it. The other opportunities that are going to present themselves for us is that Aer Lingus is now expanding the routes from the States, and we have the direct link from Dublin to Donegal Airport. We also have this is a work in progress. We're looking to see, can we get that linkage that we have from Dublin to Donegal Airport for the US inbound flights, to see if we can get that done for European flights, because at the present time you cannot book direct if you fly in with Aer Lingus in from any European or UK destination into Dublin. You can't directly link into Donegal. You have to make it a separate booking. So we're looking to see, can we get something done on that? And it's some technical glitch within Aer Lingus, and no matter how hard we've tried, we still seem to have come up against a brick wall within Aer Lingus on this, and nobody can explain to us why not. So there has to be a yes in there somewhere, or a reason why. So why not? So we're working to see, can we overcome that? And all I can say for the future, I don't know whether it'll be Brexit or Brexat, but one way or the other, I would still say the glass is half full, and we have an opportunity, and we just seize the opportunities as they present themselves. Whatever's going to happen, we can't turn around and say we're not going to adapt and overcome. We have to adapt one way, and we have to try and make sure we overcome it, and we have to try and make sure that we come out the right side of it and not the wrong side. And we can't ensure that that Brexit is going to be the stone that we stall on, but it's the stone that we use as the stepping stone to move forward on. And I hope that that's what the trade in Bundoran and the trade in the rest of the county will work towards, that we use it as a stepping stone forward rather than as a stone that we all falter on. So I wish Bundoran all the best for 2019, and we look forward to a good year in 2019 and a better one in 2020.
Thanks, Barney. So this year we're delighted to have 3 additions to the calendar of events, 3 new festivals. The Atlantic Irish Festival happens this week. It's running in association with the world famous Milwaukee Irish Festival and will take place from this Saturday 19th to next Wednesday 23rd at the Atlantic Apart Hotel, and will introduce guests to the music and culture of the Northwest. Bundoran's Big Week by the Beach will take place from the 14th to the 18th of August. It'll be a collection of events which will see the inaugural Bundoran Surf Open, the return of the Bundoran Bay Swim, a golf scramble, historical events, quiz night, beach events, and the legendary Daniel O'Donnell. And Be a Bundoran will put a focus on all of the different food offerings available throughout the town towards the end of September. I would also like at this point to recognise our sponsors for this evening's launch, AIB, and from the Ballyshannon branch, please welcome Manager Mark Crawford.
Thanks, Shane. I'm not going to say very much. Just to say good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just many thanks to Shane and Discover Bundoran for giving AIB the opportunity to sponsor the brochure and the superb booklet that they produce every year. It's huge value to the town. I've probably only been back here now for the last year or so, and probably didn't realise as much that goes on in Bundoran. Would have come down a lot of weekends for golfing and all the rest. But when you get into the social media part of it, I think I only follow you on a few things, Facebook and Twitter, maybe on Instagram, as far as my social media skills. But I think I do okay. But to think that there's 15,000 copies of that brochure and 100 odd businesses in it is superb. And we just try, AIB has supported the business here in Bundoran for a long time. I know we have no branch here anymore, but we are willing. You don't have to come into Ballyshannon. We can come out to you. And if there's anyone setting up new business, you say, I think John mentioned since last year there's been a few new businesses set up. We're willing to support or look at any proposal that anyone will come to us. There's a few of my colleagues here, Trevor and Daniel as well, both business advisors for AIB. We'll be delighted to speak to anyone about any proposal they would have. And also, we have 2 very large screens in the branch in Ballyshannon that free advertising. So if anyone in Bundoran or any of the area want to do some advertising on it, it's free of charge. So let us know and we'll try and sort something out. But again, thanking the Shane and Discover Bundoran for letting us be part of it, and hope you have a great successful year in 2019.
Thanks, Mark. Well, as well as at least 4 country music festivals in the Allingham, we'll also welcome back Nathan Carter, Charlie Lansborough, Rolly Daniels, Christy Moore and Daniel O'Donnell. We'll also extend a very warm Bundoran welcome to Sigrid, Clean Bandit and Two Door Cinema Club, who will headline C Sessions this coming June. As John mentioned earlier on, we'll also put a major focus again on the ferry bridges. In 2018, we had them on a billboard, and as we alluded to earlier on, they were voted in Ireland's top 10 hidden gems for 2018 as well. This year, we have put together a brochure, which is available around the room, and it's to go around the country and around the world, and these brochures will be distributed near and far to tell everybody about our wonderful iconic ferry bridges. And I want to say at this point a huge thanks to Mark, who's working with me in the tourist office, who formatted my scribbles so nicely into a very nice brochure, and to our Duselage colleagues from around Europe who assisted with the translations that you see in there as well. Finally, to the brochure itself, it's another 48 pages of information about what to do and see in Bundoran for 2019, where to stay and the activities that can be enjoyed. We have this wonderful cover photograph, which we eventually agreed on yesterday. So that is the final photograph taken by John Carver. Many of you who follow him on social media will be aware of his wonderful work and his wonderful photographs of Bundoran. I'd like to just put on record our grateful thanks to John for allowing us to use this photograph on the brochure, and also all of his photographs for promoting Bundoran during the year as well. Really, really nice job, and a great photograph it is as well. We've a huge calendar of events. There's tons and tons of stuff happening already. I already have another 2 to go into that, into the final brochure, which will go to print for the 15,000 copies. That'll be next week. So there's tons and tons happening in Bundoran in 2019. And then, as John mentioned earlier on as well, the map has been redesigned. We've got a new colour coding system as well, which will hopefully make things easier for people to find where they're going in Bundoran. Bundoran Weekly is our podcast. It's available on all of these platforms, available every Friday, where we talk to different people about Bundoran and let everybody know what is going on. I also want to acknowledge our advertisers in our brochure for this year. Local Link, Irish Water Clean Coasts, who have the Think Before You Flush campaign, and Bundoran is the first town in Donegal to be a Think Before You Flush ambassador town. So that's fantastic, and you'll be hearing lots more about that during the year as well. Local Link as well, and I know John is here somewhere, he's over there. Thank you, John, for all of your support and for the wonderful Local Link service as well, and to Bus Éireann for providing us with their advertising as well. That is it. Thank you to everybody for being here. Thanks to John for his continued support and mentorship throughout the year, and to, I suppose, to Mickey Mack as well for all of his hard work with the two of us. We work well together and we bounce well off each other. So thank you very much, Mickey, and indeed for the tidy towns. And with that, we look forward to a great new season here in Bundoran.
It's going to be the best Sea Sessions yet.
It's a wonderful, creative, family-friendly event.
We're expecting Ireland's top surfers to be taking part.
It's going to be a massive collection of events for everyone.
It's over 2,000 people running one of the most scenic 10-mile routes in Ireland.
Last year was our first year and it was so special.
240 classic cars, and this year we're hoping for even more.
We're going to be celebrating Bundoran's great food offering.
Community plays such a big part in Bundoran, and Darkness into Light was embraced by everyone. It was such a special event with special meaning for so many people who took part. We're really looking forward to May 11th.
Bundoran's not called Ireland's surf capital for no reason. We'll have the top surfers in the country here for the weekend, displaying some top quality manoeuvres.
I suppose you could call it a compilation of events happening across 1 week. There's surfing and golfing, historical tours, quiz nights, and lots of live music too. It's going to be a big week by the beach this August.
We've already announced our 3 headliners, Sigrid, Clean Bandit and Two Door Cinema Club. We've got loads more to come. It's going to be the biggest beach party of the summer.
It's an annual event by now. It brings families and friends together for an enjoyable afternoon, and they get to be creative at the same time.
It's year 9 and it's getting more popular than ever. Athletes use it for training for bigger events such as marathons, and others use it just to challenge themselves. And of course local charities benefit as well.
There's such a great variety of top quality food available in the town, and it's time to celebrate it. We've got big plans for the first ever Be a Bundoran this September.
It was a superb day in July with over 240 classic and vintage cars on display, which will hopefully equal or surpass in 2019.
Bundoran, Nathan here dropping by to say I can't wait to see you all this July at the Great Northern.
Hey, it's Dave from Wild Youth, and we will see you at Sea Sessions in Bundoran in June.
Hey everybody, Jimmy Buckley here, coming at you this year in Bundoran, Yellingham Arms.
Wherever you're watching in the world, welcome to St. Patrick's Day in Bundoran.